Hey guys, Brent Hull Build Show. Looking at a house today, 1920s-ish Spanish Revival house, Mediterranean Revival house. Would I buy it? What would I think about it? Am I going to recommend to a client to buy it? Come find out. I'll show you today in the Build Show. So we're in Ryan Place, okay? Ryan Place is an area, downtown's north of here. This is south. This is one of the nicest areas of Fort Worth in the early turn of the century. Elizabeth Boulevard, it actually had documents written so that you had to build a fireproof house if you built on that street. So that was early 1900s, Elizabeth Boulevard, very similar to Swiss Avenue in Dallas. These wonderful late turn of the century houses that are wonderfully built, beautifully designed, tons of history, right? Going down 6th Street, all of these streets here in Ryan Place were connected to Fairmount. I've talked to you guys about Fairmount's the largest bungalow district in the country. Huge swath of historic houses here. This is the housing stock that I discovered when I came back to Fort Worth from Boston and began to discover what period revival was and what bungalows were and see examples like this. Now, this house was built by Wy Clarkson. Now, Wy was a prolific architect. He did a number of the very important houses on Elizabeth Boulevard. So Clarkson was an important architect in Fort Worth. I mean, he did the Masonic Lodge, he did the First United Methodist Building, which is a Gothic Revival church. So look at the swath, right? We're talking from the early 1900s into the 1940s. Wy Clarkson was doing very important buildings, very specific styles that, you know, the Greek Revival kind of looking temple of the Mason's Lodge, the Gothic Revival church downtown, period revival, bungalows, classicism, right? This guy understood it all. He understood how to design in those styles. So a very important guy. He did schools, he did courthouses. He also did the Art Deco Sinclair building. So there's a fifth style, right? Now, what makes this Mediterranean Revival? Anyone, right? You've got the archtop windows, you've got the barrel tile roof, you've got this low pitched roof, right? So there are elements here that are Mediterranean Revival. So there are wonderful details in this house. And I just walked around and looked in the basement for one, and just looking at the basement, I know that this house is well made, okay? The concrete walls, there's no cracking, there's steel beams in there, right? That's the kind of specification that would have been called out for by a very top name architect like Wy Clarkson. So we've got an incredible provenance here for having this very important architect do this house. There's great details inside, even just the cut stone around the entry, how pretty that is coined into the brick. But look at the floor too, because in the 30s, especially in Fort Worth, you see a lot of it in period revival houses, is what's called a broken quarry tile, okay? So it was broken and kind of mosaic put together. It's a blend of colors because there's oranges and deep reds and a different set of colors, but this is a very popular, very appropriate front porch. And the fact that it's cracked, who cares, right? Come on, this is an old house, it's 100 years old. We want some of that character. I would hate for someone to come along and say, oh, I gotta tear it out, there's a crack in it. Please don't do that. All these wonderful details. Of course, look at this door, right? That Spanish style door, this round circles and these wonderful raised panels. Anyway, let's go inside. Okay guys, so we're going into the main entry room. This is where you'd expect to see kind of some over-the-top, more elaborate things. And look what he did here. This is a very popular tile in the 20s and 30s. There's a tile maker called Batchelder. I don't know if that's specifically Batchelder's tiles, because there's a number of companies that made these glazed earth tone tiles in this style. But realize that to get this new, to order a mantle like this and put it back in is probably a $20,000 exercise. So let's not tear out things just because they're not in style right now. And let's consider the history, the unique nature of this thing, how it was put together. This is a really special fireplace. Look too at these double hung windows. Okay, they've got double hung windows, but look what they've done here, okay? They've put a bead right in the middle of that center style, okay? Why did they do that? Because they wanted to give that an appearance that it's a pair of doors that open up. So this is one of those things that if you're going to order it from the mill shop, these are kind of some custom elements and custom details that you've got to add to put into this thing that just make it special. I mean, very thick sash. These are 1 3/4 sash. Sometimes on houses like this, you get 1 3/8 sash. But again, because we see the steel in the basement, because I see how it was framed, right, looking at the underside of the house, because I know the way it was specified, right, I know that I've got a really well-built house, well-designed house, and this speaks to Clarkson, you know, putting his touch on this deal. These doors that open out onto this porch, there's the quarry tile again that we looked at before, but this would have been an open air loggia, okay? And a lot of times, especially in Park Hill, Berkeley, in these areas where there is period revival houses, you'll see these porches closed in. Some are better than others. This one's pretty good, but we've got the original doors on here. Notice there's weather stripping here because that was originally outside. Look what they did on the trim right here, okay? So they've got case molding, but I've got a picture mold, is that first molding up. That's how they actually hung pictures in the house, is from a picture mold with wires coming down supporting that picture. But this little kick out here is a very subtle detail that I try to train my trim carpenters to do because it's a great trick. Because basically what you're doing is by kicking it out 3/4 of an inch, you create these shadow lines and you create this emphasis. Now, standing back over here, looking at over that door, this door is given hierarchy. This door is giving presence because of just that simple 3/4 of an inch kick out there around this opening. It's kind of a fun detail, kind of a cool thing. So again, looking at this house, you know, would you buy it or not? I look at this and I look for original materials still in the house, right? Look at that great leaded glass window, right? With the applied lead. See this detail right here? See that little pedal drop? Okay, that is a piece of lead, okay, that's been applied to this lead caming, okay, because the glass is held in by lead caming, actual lead, holds the glass. But these drops right here, and those drops, and that extra work right there, that is not something that comes from the local supply store, okay? Those are things that come from a draftsman's hand, from an architect's hands. Look at this. Original details like this where a phone niche would have gone. Look at this, right? We've got an arch top door. Look at our handrail, okay? What kind of wood is this? 1920s, what kind of wood is it? If you watch my videos, it's gum. Okay, gum was a really popular wood at that time, and so we've got a gum stair, something specified again by the architect. So a beautifully conceived, put together stair, beautiful leaded glass window, arch top doors, nice materials in here. Makes me know that this house, they spent a lot of money when they originally built this house. We've got this porch that goes out, going right out so that you can enjoy the weather when it's not 104. Another thing I love, a lot of original hardware, a lot of original doors, a lot of original tile. I mean, all the bathrooms look to be original. That's a big deal to me because if I have to go back and try to match that, that is going to cost a lot of money and can never get back that charm that's there. So I'm looking at this house and I see so many original details, so many fun things going on. It has a lot of value for me, right? Because I know that to take it back to the way it originally was, I don't have to spend a lot of money because it's already there. You've got a little bit of movement going on here. Look, we're in North Texas. We got expansive soil, a lot of clay in our soils. That's the reason brick industries are here, because there's so much clay in our soils. But what that means is houses expand and contract. Typically, there's houses on Elizabeth Boulevard, the nicest street, that have foundations that are completely cracked up. This foundation is solid, okay? So that tells me that it was well built. There's a little bit of minor movement that was going on, kind of seasonal expansion and contraction that's going on, which isn't a big deal to me at all. It's not a detriment, it's not a negative, and so I don't look at that as being something that would keep me from buying it. There's bad houses built in Fairmount that have a lot of movement that are poorly built. This isn't one of them. Another thing I noticed when I came in here, look at these floors. Okay, we've got a 3.5 inch floor, probably 6 or 7 inch floor. They're pegged, okay, that's what that black line is, but look at that. Okay, that's a dovetail, a butterfly design that would have held the floor together. That really kind of shows it's hand built, right? But you've got these, you know, dovetail butterflies all over this floor with this pegging wide plank. That's a special detail. That's something that I would love to do that in our new houses, right? And so fun details in here, extra money, better design, good quality. Look, if I had the money, I'd buy this house, right? There's tons of value. I know it was well built. I know it was well designed. There's great details inside this house. It's just special, right? It's just looking at that floor alone, just, you know, to have dovetails and butterflies in your floors, right? No one does that anymore. So there's great things in this house, good bones, great character, a lot of good stuff to like. So yes, I'm a buyer, right? Those things like, see the little bit of cracking or moving around this thing? That is a nothing burger here in North Texas, right? So you don't have to worry about those things. So Ryan Place is special. This neighborhood is great. Everybody knows each other. I would be a buyer. This is a great house. Let me know what you guys think. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.